from Nebraska's trusted news source. This is Channel 8 News at 5.
Coming up tonight on the news, certain people here in Lincoln are again under a mask mandate. We're going to tell you who that affects.
Plus, yet another mass shooting in America, this one just outside Indianapolis in a shopping mall. But first,
these things just don't spring up out of the blue.
Working here locally to prevent these types of tragedies from happening. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. According to Gun Violence Archive, 13 mass shootings were reported nationwide just over the weekend.
Nebraska is working with multiple avenues and agencies, including the federal level, to prevent these mass shootings. Channel 8's Jessica Blum joins us now with more in our top story tonight. Jessica?
The University of Nebraska's National Counterterrorism Center made a booklet with Homeland Security that identifies violent behaviors and provides several ways to report them. They have learned in light of recent shootings that people are seeing signs and indicators but aren't saying anything. In the interest of public safety, Nebraska State Patrol and the University of Nebraska Public Policy Center have been working together to spread awareness on these indicators. Signs include suspicious relationships, travel, and discussion of harming themselves or others. The challenge is getting people to report this information.
People just don't snap. These acts are often well planned. They take some effort to come together, and people are often aware of the individual's intentions, of their escalating behavior, of other threatening activity in advance of the shooting.
The difference between life and death in these situations can come down to whether a person has the courage to share what they saw. Early prevention can lead to an earlier checkup on someone who could be making the path toward violence. The State Patrol's Nebraska Information Analysis Center has an online anonymous tip site at sars.nebraska.gov and now the 8988 hotline that witnesses can report any suspicious activity. They say no information is too little when lives are on the line. They encourage you, if you see something, say something.
Absolutely. And Jessica, I know you'll have more in our newscast at 6 o'clock as well on this story, so thank you very much. Now to that deadly shooting in a mall food court in Indiana last night. 3 people were killed before an armed bystander stopped the gunman. And now we're learning more about what unfolded during that time and the heroic actions of that Good Samaritan. ABC's Morgan Norwood has more.
Victims are possibly in the food court.
Yet another mass shooting in America. This one just outside of Indianapolis in a shopping mall. 3 people were killed, 2 others injured, including a 12-year-old girl.
I grieve for these senseless killings, and I ache for the scars that are left behind on the victims and on our community.
Greenwood police say 20-year-old Jonathan Sapperman was armed with a high-powered rifle that he purchased last year when he opened fire at a food court.
We know that Mr. Sapperman, through surveillance video, entered the mall at entrance 4 by the food court at 4:54 p.m. He walks directly to the food court restroom. 1 hour and 2 minutes later, he exits the restroom and shoots Victor Gomez outside of the restroom. He then points his rifle into the food court where Pedro and Rosa Pineda were eating dinner and shot both Rosa and Pedro. He then fired several more rounds into the food court.
The sound of gunfire sending dozens of shoppers scrambling for cover.
Next, you know, bang, 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 I would say about 6 times. And I told my mom instantly to get down, and I grabbed her arm. And unfortunately, me grabbing her arm, she fell from trying to run.
Police going store by store looking for the gunman, only to discover that a 22-year-old who they say had no police training and no military background had already stopped the threat.
His actions were nothing short of heroic. He engaged the gunman from quite a distance with a handgun, was very proficient in that, very tactically sound, and as he moved to close in on the suspect, he was also motioning for people to exit behind him.
In addition to the rifle that authorities say was used in this attack, they say they recovered a second rifle, a handgun, and hundreds of rounds of ammunition. A motive at this point still under investigation. I'm Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Los Angeles.
In other news now, 3 Lincoln Gold Star families received a special tribute today. It came from the fallen soldiers' Northwest RV and Motorcycle Group.
That's right. The group starts in Oregon and works their way across the country to Washington, D.C., honoring fallen soldiers along the way. Today's event was held at Veterans Memorial Garden in Antelope Park. At the ceremony, a memorial plaque was presented to the Gold Star families to recognize their loved ones who made the ultimate sacrifice.
It's just great to see that in spite of what's going on in the world and the economy and the way things are, that people still are willing to sacrifice for others and to do the best they can to help each other.
Now, the primary mission of the Tribute to Fallen Soldiers is to remind each family that they are loved and will never be forgotten. This year's Memorial Ride will conclude at the Arlington National Cemetery in Washington, D.C. on August 7th. Lincoln City employees are facing a mask mandate effective immediately.
Those under the mandate include city employees who work closely with coworkers and members of the public, including at meetings. Just last week, the local COVID-19 risk dial rose to orange after sitting at the elevated yellow category for 5 straight weeks. Officials told us that they made the call due to the increase in infections and hospitalizations. This afternoon, the Lincoln City Council will vote on an ordinance on the sale of puppies and kittens.
It makes it clear they can't be sold or put up for adoption until they're at least 8 weeks old. It's already a state law, and local animal rescue groups say it's very important that everyone locally knows it too. This would make it official again if they pass the ordinance. They say it's in the best interest of the puppy or kitten who is still developing and learning life skills from their mothers.
The White House is releasing new video of several visitors it recently hosted,
including a familiar face who's fighting to protect access to abortions. State Senator and candidate for Congress Patty Pansy-Brooks was among the crowd. She went to the White House to visit with the Vice President about what she calls outdated views that the majority of people don't support.
The fact is that most Americans, most Nebraskans do not believe that the government deserves a seat at our daughter's exam table. We really have to be standing up and speaking out and explaining how far-reaching this draconian opinion by the Supreme Court is, how far it reaches.
Representative Mike Flood recently voted against the bill, which would have solidified abortion rights nationwide. Pansy-Brooks responded to the vote, calling it an attack on IVF, birth control, and marriage equality.
Time now for a check of our hot forecast with meteorologist Rusty Dawkins. Whew, staying inside today, Rusty.
Yeah, stay hydrated, find the AC as often as you can. If you have to be outside, take a lot of breaks because it is going to be hot. Not just incredibly hot, but it's just going to be warmer than average for many, many days in a row. High temperatures today so far, much hotter in western Nebraska, 110 in Chadron for the high temperature today so far, 108 in Scotts Bluff. Much cooler in central and eastern Nebraska, but we have more humidity, so it feels a little bit warmer. Outside right now, this is a Honda of Lincoln Cam at South 27th and Yankee Hill. It's a lot of sunshine and a lot of heat and some humidity, but barely a cloud in the sky. There are a few storms trying to move into portions of the Panhandle. Those will fizzle out as we head into the evening hours. Temperatures across southeast and south central Nebraska right now in the upper 80s to around 90 degrees with a dew point that's very close to 70. If not the lower 70s. So of course that does mean the heat index is a little bit higher than we would like. It's in the middle and upper 90s in some spots, 95 in Lincoln, 93 York, as well as Grand Island, 92 in Hastings, as well as Beatrice, 93 in Hebron. So a lot of lower and middle 90s, a little bit of a breeze out of the south at 5 to 15 miles per hour. As we head through tonight, temperatures drop through the 80s into the 70s by early tomorrow morning, and we'll stop dropping around the lower 70s by 6 a.m. So it is going to be a warm start for the day, and we're going to see an even hotter day tomorrow. We'll take a look at that in a couple of minutes.
Sounds good. Thank you, Rusty. This week, the U.S. House will vote to codify a 1965 Supreme Court decision regarding access to contraceptives. It's a decision that conservative Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas has suggested the current court revisit.
The 1965 Griswold versus Connecticut decision protected the right of married couples to buy and use contraceptives without government restriction. The House vote, which is unlikely to pass in the Senate, is one of a number of so-called messaging votes in the wake of the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade last month. And meanwhile, the Supreme Court has cleared the way for a quick decision about an Indiana law.
A law was passed in Indiana requiring parents to be notified if a patient under 18 years old seeks an abortion. But after the Roe v. Wade decision, Indiana is asking the High Court to review the matter and make a quick decision on the state law. Chief Justice John Roberts granted Indiana's request to bypass normal procedures and expedite a hearing. Still to come on the news tonight, the heat is sticking around for a little while longer, like Rusty mentioned, and so are the dangers associated with it.
Learn how to keep your loved ones safe from the elements right after the break. Don't go away. Intense heat, the ones caring for those affected with dementia, should keep an extra close eye out.
As temperatures stick to the high 90s, those with dementia can suffer and not be able to communicate their discomfort. Dementia patients wander off if their needs are not met, so keeping them hydrated, fed, and stimulated is important. Heat exhaustion and stroke can happen in minutes, so have a plan in place if the patient begins experiencing any symptoms like excessive sweating, flushed skin, fast pulse, dizziness, and nausea. Resting in an air-conditioned room, cold compresses, and drinking fluids are all ways to combat heat stroke. However, if the patient faints or seems especially confused, call 911. And along with the heat, for many, summer is all about family fun in the sun.
But those UV rays will affect your kids' skin in ways they won't see maybe for decades.
I think your kid's health is always a priority, and protecting them from the sun is part of that.
Unfortunately for some of us, risk factors for certain health conditions due to the sun exposure, from sunburns to skin cancer, are directly linked to our genes.
Some of the biggest risk factors would be having things we can't control: fair skin, light eyes, light hair, a family history of someone with skin cancer. We can't control that component of it, but what we can control is the UV exposure.
Now, you're encouraged to use sunscreen every day to keep your children's skin safe this summer, at least SPF 30. Some doctors recommend using mineral sunscreens instead of chemical sunscreens, especially for younger children.
Now, your Storm Alert Team Forecast from Nebraska's trusted news source.
Temperatures are going to be just warm for the next several days, and we're starting off with heat headlines because we have a heat advisory in place for a good portion of the western half and northern half of Nebraska, even excessive heat warnings for Dawes County because Chadron got way up there today, and those extend into parts of South Dakota. This heat advisory down here is for Tuesday. Notice not much going on in central and eastern Nebraska. It's just we're not quite there for the criteria for a heat advisory or an excessive heat warning, thankfully, but still it's going to be warm and muggy. Right now, though, it looks nice out there, mostly sunny skies. Groundworks cam is looking to the north, downtown Lincoln. It looks nice. It's just warm out there. 90 degrees in Lincoln, 88 in Beatrice and Friend and York, 89 in Aurora, and between 90 and 91 degrees for the Tri-Cities. So it's warm out there, but it's just also muggy. And this isn't incredibly hot. This isn't anything that we haven't seen before, but it's just going to continue over and over and over again. And that's why we're kind of ringing the bell on the take it easy out there over the next several days. Dew point, middle and upper 60s to around 70 degrees, so a heat index, middle 90s, 95 Lincoln, 97 in Friend, 92 Beatrice, 93 in Hebron. So it's just hot out there, not a whole lot of breeze. It's out of the south at 5-10, maybe 15 miles per hour. Very quiet from one side of the state to almost the other. Once you get into the panhandle, though, some precipitation. And really, if we can get precipitation just about anywhere in central and western Nebraska, they'll take it. And a little bit of light rain and some thunderstorms just south of Scotts Bluff. That may try to spread into portions of central Nebraska. This is through 7 p.m., but everything just kind of diminishes by about 9 p.m. Just some spot showers, maybe North Platte seeing an isolated shower or thunderstorm. And then just partly cloudy skies by Tuesday morning. Mostly sunny to partly cloudy, and even the clouds are like, you know what, it's too hot. We're just going to go away for a while. Look at that, barely a cloud in the sky by Tuesday afternoon and into the early evening hours. Precipitation is almost dodginess. It's down to portions of Colorado, and it just says we're going to Kansas. Forecast for tonight, 71, mostly clear and a little on the muggy side. Just about everybody between 70 and 75 degrees. Bit of a south to southwest breeze, 5, 10, maybe 15 or 20 miles per hour. On Tuesday, warming back up, 98 degrees, mostly sunny. That heat index will be between 100 and 105, which again isn't incredibly hot. It's just this will continue over and over again. A northwest breeze trying to help us out at 10 to 25 miles per hour. So middle and upper 90s, maybe a couple of spots seeing triple digits tomorrow, but I think most of us will be in the 90s. And the heat index, some 90s, lower 90s, middle 90s, and triple digits from Omaha, Lincoln, Fairbury, Beatrice, Nebraska City, south and east. And we're not alone. That triple digit heat index will bubble up from Kansas City, Salina, Kansas, maybe 109, 110, Des Moines. A lot of us going to be seeing some heat indices that are just way too hot. So 98 on Tuesday, bit of a dip, maybe even less humid on Wednesday, but the humidity and the heat comes back. A chance, just a small one at that, on Thursday and Friday for a storm or two. Middle 90s on Thursday and Friday, upper 90s come back on Saturday. Notice the trend here. Every single day, we should be around 90 degrees for a high this time of year. Every single one of those days over the next 10 days is above average. Not by a whole bunch, but it's above average in those overnight low temperatures, upper 60s and lower 70s. So the trend here is it's not crazy hot, it's just hot for a very long time.
Yes, which can be so tough because there's no break, especially overnight. We don't drop that far.
Yeah, and that's a big problem.
All right, thank you very much, Rusty. In other national news, jury selection began today in the criminal trial of former President Trump's close ally, Steve Bannon. Bannon is facing 2 contempt of Congress charges after ignoring a subpoena from the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th Capitol riot.
But a judge has limited what defenses the former Trump strategist can use in court. ABC's Jay O'Brien has more from the federal courthouse in Washington.
Jury selection now underway in the trial of Steve Bannon.
How you doing, guys? Thanks for showing up.
The controversial Trump ally now facing criminal charges for refusing to comply with a subpoena from the House committee investigating the January 6th Capitol riot. Bannon charged with 2 counts of contempt of Congress and, if convicted, faces a maximum of 2 years in federal prison or a minimum of 30 days behind bars. Last year, Bannon, who was fired from his strategist job at the Trump White House in 2017, defied the committee, claiming he was covered under executive privilege, a power a sitting president can assert, making it legal to withhold confidential information. But in a reversal, a week before his trial, Bannon said he would testify, unveiling this letter signed by former President Trump, claiming to waive executive privilege for Bannon, even though Trump's lawyer told federal prosecutors Trump never invoked executive privilege over Bannon's testimony. The committee claims Bannon had, quote, specific knowledge about the events planned for January 6th before they occurred. Last week, committee investigators saying White House phone logs show Bannon spoke with former President Trump twice the day before the attack, including one call before Bannon said this on his podcast.
Just understand this. All hell is going to break loose tomorrow. It's not going to happen like you think it's going to happen, okay?
Bannon's highly anticipated trial comes as the January 6th committee plans to hold its final scheduled hearing on Thursday. The panel is expected to examine the 187 minutes it took for Trump to respond after rioters had breached the Capitol. In their original subpoena, the January 6th committee demanded Bannon hand over documents. He hasn't done that yet, and committee members say they won't consider allowing him to testify until he fully complies with their request. Jay O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
A negative day on Wall Street, the Dow falling 216 points. NASDAQ is down 92. Here are your numbers. You're watching Channel 8, Nebraska's trusted news source.
This week.
And finally tonight, a giant parachute saves a plummeting plane.
And an otherworldly cloud wows beachgoers. Here's all the details in tonight's Take a Look at This.
It's not every day you see a plane make a parachute landing, but that's what happened in Bruges, Belgium, when a pilot was forced to deploy an emergency chute after his plane reportedly broke down mid-flight. The Telegraph reported the pilot told authorities he'd lost control of the craft after experiencing technical difficulties and began plummeting toward the ground. The two-seater plane crash-landed nose first on a sidewalk in the historic Belgian town, but the pilot walked away, and police say he was later treated for only minor injuries. Officials suggested the plane's emergency chute, called a ballistic recovery system, almost certainly saved the veteran pilot's life. Dozens of parachutes were deployed over Garrettsville, Ohio, but not before a new state skydiving record was set. 48 skydivers jumped from 3 different planes, executing a carefully planned mid-air formation that broke the decade-old state record of 33 skydivers. It may have lasted just mere moments, but organizers say the thrilling feat took years to plan. Finally, take a look at an all-natural marvel spotted in the skies over Mexico. Video of this bizarre shelf cloud looming ominously over Miramar in Tamaulipas almost certainly kept beachgoers' eyes fixed on the surreal skies. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Not that bizarre. We see them around here all the time. I mean, it's a shelf cloud. Mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies and very, very warm for the next 10 days. Every day we'll see highs at or above average and just small chances for precipitation, which we could really use.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Rusty. And thank you all for joining us.
World News is next. We'll see you back here at 6 o'clock.
With the Channel 8 Eyewitness News mobile app, you'll be the first to know. Get alerts about breaking news and weather, all in the palm of your hand.
We only do one thing at Comfort Made Mattress Factory: handcraft the highest quality mattress possible. It's backed by a lifetime comfort guarantee. Come see us.